Hey guys, and welcome to episode 53 of Dad Knows Best. I am Harrison Mudge, proud father of one, and to my right, a very tired father of two, Adam Callow.
I'm proud as well, by the way. Just so you know, Reggie Riley, I got you when you watch this in the future. You're watching Uncle Mudge's YouTube channel with millions of subscribers. I love you too, and I'm proud of you.
And on that note, for anyone that hasn't subscribed yet, first of all, why not? And please subscribe. I can't hear myself.
He measures his self-worth with subs, so he's pretty fucked right now.
Wow.
This is the tone I'm bringing today.
For anyone that's new to the show, this is just a show about a couple of daddy-os getting on the mics, chewing the fat, maybe sharing some pop tips, some advice, some war stories. For anyone that has been listening or watching for a while and thinking, where the fuck have you been? Slight change of format. As in, we're going to do like a monthly show now, just to make it a little bit easier on me, because I'm doing some more bits on YouTube, so I just need more time. Just doing a sound check in the middle of this show. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's the first time I've ever been able to see your notes. I find it interesting.
Really intricate notes.
Do you know the photo themes you've got there?
Yeah, they're for thumbnails, bro.
Is that like a repeating thing? 'Cause we did that ages ago. Or
Yeah,
is that just how old your notes are?
I keep all notes. See, some of these are like evergreen notes.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, I got derailed there. For anyone that's not new, been listening or watching for a while, and is still watching now through all this bullshit,
we salute you.
Thank you. Please stay subscribed. We're moving to a monthly show. It just helps me, just from like a workflow perspective, from other things. But yeah, probably potentially, maybe not today because Adam's exhausted, but potentially a bit of a longer form show.
Yep.
Just to make it worth your while. And on that note,
see you next time. What are we talking about?
So I have come today, being Friday the 21st of August. I have just got back. I have just finished a 4-day stint of daddy daycare, looking after the little one, and it was good fun.
Give the context. Daddy daycare. Em's away.
Emmy went away with some friends, so I've looked after Elliot Monday to Thursday.
First time being solo for more than 24 hours?
Yeah.
That's a big leap from 1 to 4 days.
Big leap, yes, in the sense that 1 to 4, it's 400%.
Agree.
But not a big leap as in I've had the child for 9 months. It's not like someone's just dropped a newborn child onto me.
Well, we've got very different parenting tactics, because when like boys were 2 years old and Sarah went away for 3 days, I was just like, what do I do? She literally... Let me ask you some questions. Let me just ask you some stuff.
So maybe if I explain...
Were you given a list?
No. I mean, it might have helped if I had a list. But so for me, I
get given a list.
So
still,
I obviously booked 4 days off work so that I could look after him, because I did think, well, maybe I can work from home and try and get bits done. But from the previous day that I have had looking after him, Emmy gave me this advice, but she said basically the way you don't just lose your shit trying to look after him is you just have to make your day while he's awake revolve around him. So just focus on him and give him your attention. And that's like a full commitment. But honestly, if you try and do something else, you end up getting, or I found anyway, and Emmy finds the same more or less, is that is when you're like, cool, I'm going to try and look after this blooming baby that's crawling around everywhere. I'm also going to try and do some work. What happens is the baby starts doing something and starts pulling you away from the task that you're trying to focus on, and you just start getting really mad at the child because he's distracting you, when in actual fact you shouldn't really be trying to look after a child and do work at the same time for a child that's that young and that still needs full-time attention.
I'll go with that, to be honest. I agree with that.
So I just thought, let me just book the days off, and then I can do some personal bits when he's asleep and stuff like that. And it was just really nice and I just really enjoyed bonding with him while he was away. So we didn't do a lot. I'll tell a lie, actually. We went around my mum and dad's, went around to see a grandma, his great grandma. So we did do a fair bit, but then other times we chilled and just played with toys, and he just
All jokes aside, it's quite interesting for me because up until probably even just a year and a half ago, when Sarah went away, I'd get a list next to the microwave.
What was the list of?
What to feed them, what to dress them when they go to sleep.
So that would actually be helpful, because the issue I had, and that kind of
is Elle's real fucking hungry right now.
He never got dressed. No, but like, because one of the things sometimes I'll try and dress Elliot when Emmy's around, and I'm like, where is this? Where is that? But like, when you think about it, if Emmy in this situation is the one that is usually looking after the kid, like she looks after him 80% plus of the time. So when she's like, just grab him a top, I don't know where I'm looking in a drawer or the cupboard or
next kid section
or in the new stuff that's not been de-tagged yet because he's waiting to grow. Like, I don't know the process and the system that she's got, so I don't know where she keeps certain things or anything like that. When you spend a few days with him or more, I then learn, she's keeping this there or whatever. I did have to ask her where certain things were or what we're doing. Like, for example, he wore the same pair of socks for 4 days straight because all of the socks in his drawer were too small. So I'm like wading through all these tiny socks, thinking like they're obviously small anyway, but I'm finding these things that like would barely cover my thumb.
Got your circulation.
And I'm like, what? And the thing was, I only found out when I started putting it on him, because I'm like, well, these are obviously his clothes. Get these socks. I'm like, fucking come on, why is this not going on? And I realised the heel was only halfway up his foot. So I'm like, well, these are too small. So I'm getting them all out, and I'm like, none of these are the right size. So then I went into the washroom and some dry, and I was like, cool, these are his socks for the week. So I don't know where half these things are. And then when I spoke to her about it, she's like, oh yeah, he does need some new ones. But I didn't know that. Whereas if she'd have given me a list or whatever, either she might have planned ahead and got more out or whatever. So a list.
Biggest surprises
of
the 4 days. What did you underestimate and what did you overestimate?
Good question.
Going into interview mode,
what did I underestimate? I don't think I underestimated anything.
What was harder than you thought it was going to be?
I think one big takeaway from it, which I already kind of knew anyway, hence why I took the 4 days off, is when they're young, because he's just started crawling and pulling himself up on things, he needs to be supervised 100% of the time. Because, so here's something we'll talk about as well, is we were in the bed, what day would it be? Wednesday morning, I think. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm getting bogged down in the wrong details. So the routine we have as a family anyway is he wakes up, we get up, we go down, make a bottle, make some coffees, come back in bed, feed him, we have a drink, and we just chill. Cool. So I'm sat in bed chilling with him, texting Emmy, and he's crawling about, and you see he's going to the edge, you bring him back, he's going to the other edge, bring him back. You know what I mean? He's just trying to go off the edge, because that's why else? Why wouldn't he want to go off the edge of the bed? But I quickly was texting Emmy as well at the time. This is what really pisses me off. And she was like, oh, how are you? And I was like, oh yeah, we're okay, whatever. And I see him crawling, and so we've got bedside tables as well, and I'd put a pillar. So I don't know if anyone can see it here, but these stands are on a chair, stool, whatever they're on, apparatus. So I put a pillar between the mattress of the bed and the bedside table, because I thought if he falls or something, he'll smack his head on the bedside table. So I covered it in the pillar. So he crawls off in my peripheral, and I don't go into a heightened sense of danger because I thought, I've got that covered. So I'm still sending this text. Next thing, he falls. Poof, I hear a thud, and I look over, and basically what's happened is he's basically crawled on the pillar, but the pillar's gone down the gap. because why wouldn't it? Like when you look at it, it's
Weight
like,
applied.
I basically just covered the gap with a pillar, like one of them textbook cartoon things where they put a carpet over a giant pit or something. So he falls and he smacks his head on the. He smacks his eye socket, a little bit there on the edge, against the edge, not the corner, the edge of the bedside table. So he received his first open wound whilst under the care of Daddy. So it cut him a little bit.
Just do me a favour. Take me back to that moment. What were you thinking at that point?
So my reaction, like I look over and I'm like, fuck. So I just grab him. It's because he starts crying and he has like a really, as all kids will, they'll have their own different cries, right?
Yeah.
Like we said before. But he started crying in this really upset way that you can. It's not like a I want something cry. It's like a I'm distressed one way or another. So I just grabbed him and picked him up and just like he just hold them and shake them and shush them and try and make them feel better and like it's okay. Mum's gonna kill me. It's okay. So yeah, but he kind of he sucked it up after like what a minute.
No, he
so
will.
He was pretty tough.
What was it like?
But it was like.
Did you tell him? Did you snap a photo and?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I've got photos here. I'll show you.
How did Em react?
Well, that was the thing. I deleted everything that I was about to say about this great morning that we've been having, and then I was like, oh, you won't flipping believe it. I was just texting you, and he's gone and fallen down the side of the bed. I'm looking here. So yeah, I felt really shit about that. But he was fine.
Baby's bounce.
The thing is, though, the biggest worry for me, the immediate train of thought was, okay, stop crying. He's okay. But what do I do? Do I need to call 111? Do I need to call somebody? I don't really like. I would probably just shake it off. But how bad is it? Because it's a baby. Like, because that's where your head goes to. Then it's like, well, is a bump on the head better for a kid or worse for a kid? Not that it's ever a good thing anyway. But like, when an adult falls and smacks their head, you think, are they concussed? Because any bump to the head is sort of dangerous.
I guess the problem is when they are unable to communicate how they feel and what's going on, like if they've got a headache and if it's sore, blah blah blah. And as a parent,
yeah. So some of that's blood that he's moved.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. So
let's have a look. Oh, little trooper.
And it swelled a little bit, and it's just a bit bruised now. So it's got a bit of a black eye. So yeah, so that was.
He's growing up, man.
Yeah, he's getting a right big boy now.
Such. Like his personality and his complexion. Like I don't remember him being. He looks like a little boy now compared to last time I saw him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's less of a baby, and he looks more. And I guess the intent in his eyes there, because normally babies look just a bit like gormless.
Yeah, he's getting more of a personality now, and then like. So I was worried about that, but he seemed okay. He didn't seem to be concussed. I don't know if a baby can even be concussed. I would assume so.
But definitely not giving any advice on this.
So I mean, if anyone thinks that I didn't react the right way, leave it in the comments or whatever, or email.
Or just keep that to yourself. To be honest, guys.
or double tap the like button on YouTube, whatever. But. He seemed fine, and then we went downstairs and had some more breakfast, and he was fine, laughing, happy, and all that jazz.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
So he was. So yeah, it was all.
That's why I was more interested to know how you and Em reacted, because the amount of times that we've dropped kids, and I've had some real bad experiences. I told you with Reggie and the pushchair and the escalator.
Well, that's where my head went to. I was like, fuck, this isn't as bad, but I guess now I've had an insight into how shit it makes you feel.
Yeah. So
because. What really made it like almost heart-wrenching is like I'd done the very thing that basically caused this was me trying to prevent this very thing from happening.
Yeah, you can't beat yourself up for that, though.
I'll put the pillar on that. And now the pillar's the thing that's just going to allow him to fall.
Masked the drop. No, but I think the thing is, every time that I've done something and one of the kids have like hurt themselves as a result of it, as a parent, I think the real why it really hurts is it's your job. Do you know what I mean? To just protect. Like it's like the one thing I'm meant to do right now is just make sure you're safe. And I'm like,
I just need to get you to adulthood, and I'm
Exactly.
done. And I can't even keep you on the fucking bed.
so yeah, but it is cool, man. I'm glad it wasn't serious, but I guess it's a good lesson.
Yeah. So, but yeah, all in all, mate, that was it's been really nice.
Good.
Yeah. But didn't do much. But do you know what's really weird? And this isn't necessarily related to Elliot, but I've just been in a really sort of bad habit recently of not going to bed till like midnight. Because
I feel that this week,
and
mate,
it's
though.
but like, and I know people probably thinking, well, it's midnight. But like,
that's not your routine.
This is coming from someone that used to, bear in mind, I used to have to get up at like 4:30, for example, but I'd be in bed by 9. And then when the missus moved in, it pushed itself back to sort of 10 p.m. But it was always like, we're in bed for 10. And over the years, it's sort of stayed pretty reasonable during the working week. But like for the past, probably over the past, few months, it's just been like, well, it's 10:30 now. Let me finish watching this. It finishes at 11. And now all of a sudden 11.
The hell are you watching on live TV?
I'm not watching live TV.
What do you mean it finishes at 11 then?
Well, I've started watching something that's got another 40 minutes on it.
I'm like, what are you watching on live TV?
Because all of a sudden my justification's been like, well, it's already gone 10 o'clock. So I may as well just stay up till past. And then it was like, well, I may as well go to bed at 11. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to be trying to wake up when I'm in a deep sleep. So I need to then time it for every 1.5 hours. For anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about there, a sleep cycle's like 1.5 hours.
Minutes, yeah.
So give or take, obviously. But if you think about going to bed at midnight,
He's trying to do maths in his
no,
head now.
I know. But so if I go to bed at midnight, I then have to think, okay, do I want to set my alarm for 6 or 7:30? Both for me are viable options nowadays, but one means I'll be up and have loads of time in the morning to just wake up, because I can't just get out of bed normally anyway. It takes me a bit of time to come to reality. Or I have to time it for another hour and a half, so it's 7:30, which again I'll go through the same process whether it was 6 or 7:30, but then I've got less time to get up and have breakfast and get everything done in the morning. So it's not a massive deal, but it's like, I don't know why I'm like reducing the very thing that I enjoy the most, which is sleeping. But I'm just
what
like,
are you doing to snap yourself back out of it? Because you're aware of it clearly.
But then I'm like, well, I'm kind of just fucking getting on with it now, and I'm watching more like TV, or I'm playing a bit more Xbox, and the room's gone completely dark.
It doesn't really
give it a
work.
wave.
It doesn't really work that well from here, man. It doesn't, and we're gonna keep all this in.
You know what though? Keep the energy and effort to try and solve this problem. It doesn't really work.
Okay, I'm going.
Okay, for anyone. See, here you go. Simple. All you had to do was.
We need that Ox spirit level.
Yeah.
Dad Knows Best, brought to you by Ox Tools. Fucking hell,
Not
we get a phone
sponsored,
call
not
off
sponsored.
Jamie Fisher in a second off the back of this.
Hey, if they want to pay for next month's sponsorship.
Yeah, what are you doing to get out of it? You're not doing anything right now. Honestly.
Honestly, I'm not doing it. I'm actually not doing anything at all. If you want an actual answer,
Okay.
but
Are you gonna?
But the reason I'm hesitating is because I'm thinking, well, should I change it? Because I don't know. I feel like I came to some sort of justification in my mind, but not really sure what that is.
Probably not a strong justification.
But like, I think it's just because, well, I feel like I don't go to bed on time, or I can't remember the last time I've been to bed on time. So just by saying I'm gonna get to bed on time again, it's not going to happen. Because if it was going to happen, I'd have been going to bed at 10 o'clock like I wanted to. But this has been going on for so long. You mean the podcast? This is the new normal. This is the new me. You know what I mean? This is post-COVID. Like this is
the new
like
norm.
Midnight bedtime at midnight.
And catching up on Netflix.
But I'm doing more. I say doing more. I'm like consuming more media, whatever that might be. So still not watched The Last Dance. Been watching Happy on Netflix.
Happy. Haven't seen it.
It's 2 seasons. It's really graphic. It's like an 18.
What's it about?
So it's about this guy who's a cop. He's got a daughter and a wife, but the wife, him and his wife are separated because he's a bit of an alcoholic and all this stuff. But in season 1, his daughter had an imaginary friend who's called Happy. You've probably seen the thumbnail on Netflix if you got it, but it's this blue horse unicorn thing, blue and pink and whatever. But the dad ends up being able to see him. So it's this whole thing of like, you're not really real and all this, but then there's this like whole twist of stuff of like the Pope and the church is all this like underground sex pedophile ring, and he goes
Hold
in
on.
and
You're watching this and still haven't put time aside for The Last Dance. I keep banging on.
because this is like action, and it's like an action doc comedy thing, but it's just more enjoyable than 10 hours of Michael Jordan.
You can't judge something until you've tried it.
But on the note of documentaries that are 45 minutes to an hour long, I've just started watching is it called Game Over? A new documentary about
games.
the games industry.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I'm interested in that.
So I've watched episode 1 of that. So that is what I will be chipping away at.
Do you know you said we're moving to like a longer format?
Yeah.
Is it,
You've got to go.
No. Is it taking a structure, or is it just?
Well, we might be able to call.
Because I like this part of the
we might be able to part.
Oh my word! You're a podcaster.
Compartmentalize. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think this bit, like, I'm interested.
So you want to talk about The Last Dance? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm interested to hear about what you watch on Netflix, sharing that. I'm interested to hear some of the gadgets that you've got, because you start to do some video reviews on YouTube.
This is a conversational podcast.
Yeah.
Where we'll cover the things like what's going on, to what we're using, to what we're watching.
We should do? What might be interesting, just for a bit of fun. A couple of things. We should bring some ideas together, like on some cards.
We should come with structure.
No. Like, get a deck of. I'll bring a deck of blank playing cards. Write some topics on that we want to talk about. Give them a shuffle. Bring a card out and talk about it.
Well, one other thing actually. While we're on Netflix, is
as we still were.
So obviously I've been watching some kids Netflix, and we've been watching. By the way, for anyone that's got a young kid or not. The wife loves this program as well. I realised
that we're just getting the side of my head on YouTube.
There's something called Hey Dougie? It's on BBC. It is the best kids program I've ever seen.
When you say the best kids program, do you mean you're actually enjoying it? You are, as an individual.
I genuinely think me and Emmy could just sit and watch it ourselves. I don't
really get you.
There's 7-minute episodes. The animation in it looks great as well. By the way, you've seen it. Yeah. It's funny. It's witty. It's English.
Witty?
It's intelligent. honestly, there's so much subcontext going on. It's unbelievable. But yeah, so that was really good. But there was this other thing, and we finished all that. It's also on Netflix. But I'm on Netflix. I'm scrubbing through, looking for. I don't want to watch Paw Patrol. It's a bit too American.
Boss Baby.
That's good. We've been watching that.
Love that.
One thing I watched, and I had to write this one down because I'd never remember it. It's called Kongsumi. Kongsumi and her magical friend or something, and friends, something like that. It's obviously originally a Japanese animation, CGI, whatever, but it's got American voiceover, so it's all been localized correctly. But so what's interesting about
it? How do you know it's correct? Do you know when you just said it's been localized?
Oh no, correctly? So I mean it's been localized, like when you, as in. It's not like they've just translated it verbatim and it makes no sense. They've gone through and made it. They've localized it to make sense.
I heard that as if like you know Japanese and it's been.
hey, I have been to Japan. Konnichiwa. So desu ne. But yeah, so they localize it, so it's like you're not watching what feels very Japanese. It's like it sounds sort of English or American, or whatever it is. Western, thank you. That's the right terminology. But what's interesting about it is, so one thing is it's like a series or a soap where one episode where one episode finishes, the next one begins. So like when you get to the end, you don't necessarily get like a big conclusion. It just kind of ends on a note, and then the next one will begin.
That's like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh was like that.
Yeah, but this is like for really young kids, which I just thought, I guess, is quite different, because normally they try and end on like a song or a happy life lesson or whatever. But the thing that really stuck out to me about this, and you'll notice in my notes, Adam, that I've just put bad parents, because, and I think probably bad parents is a strong term, but it's just the way it helps me remember. But for anyone that's watched a couple of episodes back of Dad Knows Best, spoke about the 60-Minute Father. And a lot of the things in that, the crux of that book is like, spend time with your kids when they're young. They're only young once. Value the time now. Don't try and get it back. This is like the definition of what that book's trying to prevent. As in, like, the dad works.
Well, that's a Japanese culture, though.
Yeah, but they're not necessarily. Well, yeah, good point, but it's just not positive though. There's not like it's not like, oh, the dad's always away and the mum's at home or whatever. It's like, it's almost like the writers have tried to make a point of this. So if parents happen to watch it, they look and go, oh shit, because so the dad is a vet that works long hours, so he leaves early in the morning, he comes home late at night, and the mum works from home, and obviously there's the daughter, which is Kongsumi. And then she's got a younger baby sister who is, I think she's crawling anyway. But the very first, like the first scene in the first episode is the daughter, Kongsumi, is trying to show her mum, who's a work from home mum. She's on the phone to her client. She's like, so the daughter's got a picture of this painting that she's just done. And she's like, Mum, what do you think to my painting? Do you like it? And the mum's on the phone. She's like, not now. I'm on an important call. Just give me a minute. But the mum is some sort of designer, and she's on the phone to her client saying, "Do you like the design? Do you like the art?" And it's like, you're on the phone having basically the same conversation.
There's some meta stuff going on.
Yeah, and then there's like another episode where the dad's done long hours, but he promises the next day that he'll spend some time with her. So the next day comes, which is another episode. And then he's teaching her to ride a bike. He gets a phone call and is like, "Oh, I've really got to take this. You carry on. I'm just going to go take this call." And basically the call ends up being like longer than expected. It ends up being dark, and then he comes back and goes, "Oh, I've been watching you. It's like this really like
that's interesting
meta
though,
shit,
because I was watching Street Food, which is a new documentary on Netflix, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of those.
And one of them is Japanese guy who got a PhD in England, and dad was a chef, and he was talking about the culture of work in Japan, and they put it above everything, basically.
Yeah,
and it feels like this is like let's just put a mirror to the Japanese culture and say, just look at what we're doing, and we're putting it on a kids show to highlight it to the parents that will be watching it with the kids. I think that's pretty cool.
And I guess it kind of shows it, obviously, like, so in Japan they call that it's like the salaryman culture. So like men just work from crack of dawn till late at night, but like that's kind of applicable for anyone, I guess, at least in the West that I can speak for. That's kind of the culture that we all have, right? Is we just work and all this, and the kids seem to get left on the back burner. Hence why there's books about trying to stop this. But yeah, I just kind of randomly flicked on something and hit play on Netflix, and then when I was watching this, I was like, "Wow, this is intense."
Very much, yeah, cool.
Because. And then the final thing I was saying is like the reason why it kind of stuck out so much as well is because it ends on
negatives. Negatives.
Like, so she's got an imaginary friend as well, who I guess is a toy that's just in her imagination, or whether it is a real magic owl, I don't know. But yeah, it's just like this girl has these conversations with her friend, this imaginary friend, that's just like, "Oh, mum and dad don't have time for me. They only have time for the baby because the baby's taking all the attention when there is time." And it's just like, oof. And like, this is for kids.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it is.
But it's real.
Like
it's real. Like, I guess as sad as that sounds, it's very real. But
It sounds like
But
it's
yeah, it
hijacking
was-
kids' TV to shine a spotlight on parents.
Because there is a moment of imagination
Mhm.
in each one of them, hence her magical friend or whatever. But like the main gist of it is like you almost need to show this to adults just to see it and be like,
It sounds like that's what it's for, though.
yeah. But you don't normally watch. I guess not everyone's got 4 days off with the kids just to watch TV and play with blocks.
Well, sounds like a pretty good day for you. It's kind of what you do at work. You just-
I mean, I play blocks in the daytime and I play video games at night time. What more does a man want in life?
talk about video games. We've got Call of Duty this evening. There's a couple of things I want to talk about in the future, though. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I had a note that you want to talk about money, value of money.
I'm going through this cool thing now where I'm trying to teach Riley the value of money because he's at that age. Because he keeps wanting to buy shit on Fortnite. So I want him to understand that. I want to talk about that. I've been using some stuff on the iPad to get him to learn that. And then I wanted to share some stuff from just recent learnings about family for me. And chasing stuff that I kind of realised I don't really want. So just readjustments of values over the last couple of months.
Well, speaking about holding mirrors up to parents, and do you want to end on these values that you've discovered it with yourself?
It's probably a 30-minute show, just that.
Strap.
You know what I mean? For a long time, there's some really cool stuff that I don't want to lie to you. Like, I'm not really looking forward to sharing it. I'm looking forward to having it on record, if that makes sense. Like, because saying stuff out loud is a really good way to cement it, and I want to share it with you, but I really want to just confirm some of the stuff. And
with our 50,000 listeners and
is that all right? I
viewers
thought it had gone up.
in the first 24 hours.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice one.
No, but you can help us get to that 50,000 number, guys. All you need to do is subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If this is your first time here, thank you. And if you've been here for a while, and if you've been here this long in this episode, thank you so much. It's all recording over there today, mate, unfortunately. So
Fancy.
that's why I was even thinking probably should have made a note of the start time because it's now 5:15.
I don't know when we started.
I think we started at about 4:30.
Oh, wow.
No, 45 minutes.
So the person that's left watching is probably Alex Rolls. How you doing, bro?
So, well,
Still getting beaten up by the markets, mate.
before this descends into something really weird that's not really to the target audience, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the show. And until next month,
Wow.
unless we do any more in between, like I said, this is just to help me. But if we have any, like, for example, if you've got like a fire topic you want to cover, we can jump on the mics. And just thinking it's easier just to say, cool, we're monthly plus. It sounds like a subscription service.
And to sign up to that subscription,
you email dadknowsbest@nbs.fm. Until next time, guys, stay well. I need a better sign.